Alright, so this is about benzene, right? So that'll probably be the title of this video, something to do with benzene. So I became aware of benzene not because I'm an alchemist or a chemist or anything like that, but because I study alchemy, but not directly. I only study alchemy because apparently that's what the pyramids in Giza are designed around. They're designed around alchemy and performing adverse chemical reactions. So the various chemical reactions happen in all the different pyramids. They produce different chemicals for different reasons. They also happen to produce and harness and distribute electricity with the source coming from lightning. So generates lightning, receives lightning, generates, attracts, distributes, and harnesses lightning, right? So that's the only reason I know anything about benzene, right? Because the guy who does all of the site studies was just walking around and he's like talking about how it sort of ticks him off or bugs him or really sparks his interest or raises a lot of questions. I believe that's his main point of focusing on the fact at all, but he does stop and focus on this fact anytime he runs across it. And the point where he discovers benzene, or at least shows me and I discover benzene, is him and his wife are trekking along this, what would be like either the middle point or the very end of the causeway leading up to the Great Pyramid. So it's all still part of the causeway, and you're still finding like weird things through the causeway, right? So it's strange, and the town is literally built right up to the edge. So there was they had a weird understanding. Either they already know everything they need to know about the functionality of the pyramids and the whole complex itself. Like they already have somebody that knows everything they need to know about it. They're not concerned about furthering their knowledge, because otherwise why would they have built up to it? And there's many examples around the complex, and this even goes for Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe, they're like, oh, we're going to save all of the findings for future historians. And it's like, there's not going to be future historians. It'll be so distant. You're talking about waiting for civilization to wipe out, or for there to be some paradigm shift in leadership of the civilization in order for there to be someone to dive into Göbekli Tepe, for example. But to flash back to this guy that does a lot of studies over the pyramids and the Giza complex in Egypt, they're walking around the end of a causeway. The town's built right up to it. They're doing studies, and you can see benzene perfectly, the image of the molecular buildup of benzene. So not just benzene written out or something, a hieroglyph that means benzene. I mean, I guess you could say it's a hieroglyph because it is a carving in a rock, but the symbolism represents the actual physical form of benzene. So that should that should be weird, right? Because now you should be wondering, you look at images of Thoth or Toth, however you want to say his name. The body of a man and the head of a bird, right? So how much of the hieroglyphs are mythical and how much are a direct translation of what was occurring, because sure, this symbol means this, and then you look at the symbol and you're like, well, the symbol isn't exactly shaped like, the symbol's shape isn't a representation of what it's depicting's shape, like whatever the situation there is, there's, I didn't think of a good example to bring up currently, but it's just strange that, like, how, for one, how do they know that's what benzene looks like? I'm still recording. Yeah, how do they even know that's what benzene looks like? Well, to draw this into a light of why it matters. Well, I believe the smiley face killer uses benzene or roofies to drug or induce a state of drunkenness or even sleepiness in their victims before they beat them and toss them in a river, and they come up dead from a beating, or they just say they drowned, they can't figure it out. Well, if you're a target, they constantly have someone pestering you, asking you for cigarettes, even though I never smoke. People are always asking me for cigarettes, like that's not a common problem for a regular person who doesn't smoke cigarettes, never has a smoke on them. Why? Well, then they try to pair like gasoline cans next to your food, or like someone will be idling as a very large semi truck next to you or very near you while you try to order or eat your food or get drink. Anytime you're trying to ingest something, someone's going to try and smoke a cigarette as close to you as possible, or a semi is going to come by and have a delivery and do like an extra long idle. They're just going to like idle. And then they can control the traffic. They can control lights, traffic lights.